wanted a private conversation with you. Blair felt her face heat up. It was nothing. Uh-huh. That's why he kept staring at you for the last 20 minutes of the meeting with Maeve. Totally nothing. He was... What? Oh, you didn't know? Tristan grinned mischievously. Yeah, Maeve was visibly annoyed. It was hilarious. Blair frowned. Is there something going on between them? Cassian and Maeve? There was. Once. A long time ago. They were betrothed when they were young. It's a pack thing, uniting powerful families. But after Cassian's parents died, he broke off the engagement, said he wasn't going to marry out of obligation. And Maeve? She was furious, humiliated. But she's an elite warrior, so she swallowed her pride and stayed with the pack. They keep things professional now, more or less. Blair processed this. The way Maeve had touched Cassian. She still has feelings for him. Probably. But Cassian... Tristan hesitated. Cassian closed himself off after losing his parents. He doesn't let anyone in. Not that way. Until now, a voice said behind them.
Blair turned and saw Dahlia approaching, carrying a basket of what looked like fresh bread. Sorry for listening in, the older woman said, not looking at all apologetic. But hut walls are thin, and my hearing is still good. She handed the basket to Blair. For you. Payment for the pancakes. You didn't have to... Take it, child. Where I come from, refusing gifts is rude. Blair took the basket, the warm scent of bread making her stomach rumble. Thank you. Dahlia sat on her other side, her old wise eyes studying Blair's face. You did something today that no one has managed in years. I made pancakes? You made people smile. Truly smile. I haven't seen that since before the last war. She paused. And you made Cassian look at someone as if they were something more than a duty or responsibility. Blair swallowed hard. I didn't... Don't deny it, dear. These old eyes see. Dahlia smiled gently. But be careful. Cassian carries a lot of weight, and hearts that carry weight don't open easily. I'm not trying to open anything, Blair protested weakly. Dahlia and Tristan exchanged a look. Of course not, Tristan said, but he was smiling. Before Blair could respond, there was commotion at the camp entrance. Loud voices, some angry. Tristan stood up immediately. Stay here. But... Blair, stay. He ran towards the noise, Dahlia following him with surprising speed for someone her age. Blair, being Blair, waited exactly 30 seconds before following them. There was a group gathered near the camp entrance. Cassian was at the center, his posture rigid, facing 3 strangers. No, they weren't strangers. They were werewolves. Blair could sense it, just as she could now sense the difference between pack members and normal people. There was something in the air around them, something wild and dangerous. But these were different from the Black Moon wolves. Their eyes were a deep red instead of gold, and there was something darker about their energy. You have courage coming here, Darius, Cassian said, his voice low and dangerous. I came in peace, Cassian, just to talk. You attacked my territory last night. That's not peace. That was a test. Darius tilted his head, and you passed, as always. His eyes swept across the camp and then landed on Blair. She felt a shiver run down her spine. Interesting, Darius murmured, taking a step toward her. Cassian moved, blocking his path. She's not your concern. A human, here. That's very much my concern. Especially one who apparently performs magic inside boxes and conjures food from the sky. Blair felt her heart race. How did he know that? We have our sources, Darius said as if he could read her thoughts. Words travel fast in these lands, little human. Don't speak to her, Cassian growled, and for the first time Blair heard something truly animal in his voice. Darius raised his hands in feigned surrender. Peace, Cassian. I just came to make an offer. I want nothing you have to offer. Not even information about the Veil Stone. The entire camp fell silent. Blair stepped forward before she could stop herself. You know about the stone? Cassian looked at her with a warning in his eyes, but it was too late. Darius smiled, and it was a terrible smile. Ah, so it's true. You came through it. How do you know that? Blair demanded. Because my pack guards the ancient records. The stories other packs have forgotten. The Veil Stone isn't just a time-traveling tool, little human. It's a bridge between worlds,
and it only works when activated by someone with blood from both worlds. Blair blinked. What does that mean? It means, Darius said slowly, that you are not entirely human. The world seemed to tilt beneath Blair's feet. That's impossible. Is it? Then how did you activate the stone? He tilted his head. Blair thought about it. He was right. You're lying, Cassian said, but there was uncertainty in his voice. Am I? Darius looked at him. Test her. Use your alpha sense. See if I'm wrong. Cassian hesitated, then slowly turned to Blair. May I? What do you mean? Sense your energy? It won't hurt. Blair nodded, not trusting her voice. Cassian placed his hand over her heart, his eyes closing. The entire camp watched in silence. After a long moment, Cassian's eyes opened, and in them was shock. He's right, Cassian whispered. There's something in you. Something ancient, dormant, but it's there. Blair felt as if the ground had been pulled out from under her feet. No, that doesn't make sense. My mother is human, my father is human. Do you think you know your full lineage? Darius asked softly. How many generations back can you trace? 4? 5? Magic can sleep for generations, waiting for the right conditions to awaken. Blair was trembling now. I don't want this. I didn't ask for this. None of us asked for what we are, Darius said, but here we are. Cassian placed a hand on Blair's shoulder, a surprisingly gentle gesture. Enough. You've delivered your information. Now go. Darius smiled. So protective. How sweet. He turned to leave, but paused. One last thing, little human. If you want to learn more about what you are, about the stone, about how to get home, you know where to find me. She won't seek you out, Cassian said firmly. Won't she? Darius looked at Blair. We'll see. And then he left, his 2 companions following them into the shadows. The camp remained silent for a long moment after their departure. Cassian looked at Dahlia. Bring the ancient records, anything about mixed lineages. Dahlia nodded and hurried away. Blair looked at him and saw something in his eyes she hadn't seen before. Concern, real and deep.
Later that night, Blair sat in her hut, her mind racing. There was a knock on the door. Come in, she called, expecting Cassian. But it was Muriel who entered, holding something wrapped in cloth. Hi, the girl said shyly. I brought this for you. She handed her the package. Inside was a dress. It was simple, made of a soft fabric in forest green hues, but it was clearly well made. My mother made it, Muriel explained. She said you can't keep wearing torn clothes. And she hesitated. I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter what that scary man said. You're still our special human, and we like you. Blair felt tears pricking her eyes. Thank you, Muriel. The girl smiled. Will you teach us more things from the future? Of course. Good. Muriel ran to the door, but stopped. You know, the Alpha never lets anyone touch him, but he touched you today. That means something. And then she left, leaving Blair alone with her confused thoughts and a dress that smelled of lavender. Blair held the dress against her chest and finally let the tears fall. Because she didn't know who she was anymore. She didn't know where she belonged or if she would ever go home. Blair woke up to the sound of thunder. Except it wasn't thunder. It was the sound of something enormous crashing through the forest, trees breaking, and then a roar that made her windows vibrate. She jumped out of bed, putting on the dress Muriel had brought the night before. Her future clothes were drying after she finally washed them, and ran outside. The camp was in chaos again, but this time it was different. It wasn't the organized chaos of when they went out to fight. It was panic. What's happening? Blair yelled at someone, anyone. A young woman ran past carrying 2 small children. Golem! An ancient golem! Blair froze. A what? A boom sounded, closer this time, and then she saw it. At the edge of the camp, destroying trees as if they were twigs, stood a creature made of living stone, moss, and fragments of ancient metal. Every movement made the ground vibrate. Its eyes, incandescent slits of blue light, burned like cold embers, and archaic symbols glowed on its cracked body. And it was furious. Cassian's voice echoed through the camp. Tristan and Maeve were by his side, along with at least a dozen other wolves, all in a defensive formation. The golem raised a fist the size of a tree trunk and brought it down with force, the impact shaking the ground. What followed was absolute chaos, wolves attacking from all sides, the golem retaliating with devastating blows that sent shards of stone and sparks flying through the air. The sound was deafening. Metal against claws, magic against brute force. Blair stood paralyzed, watching in horror as Cassian narrowly dodged a blow that would have crushed his head. "Blair!" Dahlia appeared, grabbing her arm. "Inside, now!" "But they know what they're doing. Come on!" Dahlia pulled her toward the larger hut, the meeting hall. Inside, there were other people who couldn't fight. Elders, children, some injured from the previous night's battle. Muriel was there, her eyes wide with fear. When she saw Blair, she ran and clutched her waist. "It's okay," Blair said automatically, running her hand through her girl's hair. "It's going to be okay." But she didn't know that. Outside, the sounds of battle continued. Growls, crashes, the horrible sound of stone crushing wood. "Why did the golem attack?" Blair asked Dahlia. The older woman looked grave. "Ancient golems are ancient guardians. They don't move without purpose. Something must have disturbed their rest. Or," she hesitated, or someone purposely woke it." Blair thought of Darius and his visit. "Do you think—" A loud crash cut off her words. One of the hut walls trembled. "He's too close," someone whispered.
Blair looked around at the frightened faces. Children crying, mothers trying to comfort them, elders muttering prayers. And something inside her broke. Before she could think twice, Blair was already running for the door. "Blair, no!" Dahlia yelled, but she was already outside. The scene was worse than she had imagined. The ground was cracked, the air filled with dust and vibrant energy. Several wolves were injured. Maeve had an open wound on her flank. Tristan was limping. And Cassian was directly facing the golem, trying to keep it away from the rest of the camp. But he was tiring. Blair could see it in his movements. Slower, heavier. The golem seemed to notice too. The blue light in its eyes flared intensely, and it raised its arm to deliver the final blow. "No!" Blair screamed. And then, something impossible happened. She felt something inside her break and explode like a wave. The air around her began to vibrate and shimmer with a golden glow. Everyone stopped, even the golem. The creature slowly lowered its arm and turned its colossal head towards Blair. The blue glow of its eyes met the gold emanating from her, and for an instant, the world seemed to stop. "Blair, get out of there!" Cassian yelled, shifting back to human form and running towards her. But Blair didn't move. Something inside her, the same dormant force Darius had mentioned, told her to stay. The golem approached with heavy steps that made the ground tremble. Its runes began to pulse, reacting to her presence. Slowly, trembling, Blair held out her hand. "Please," she whispered, "stop. They are not your enemies." The golem stood motionless for a long moment. Then slowly it lowered its colossal head to her hand. The touch was cold and pulsating, like ancient energy in motion. The golden light around Blair pulsed once, intensely, and then faded. The golem let out a low, almost melancholy sound, an echo that seemed to come from the depths of the earth, and then turned, lumbering heavily back into the forest, leaving destruction but no further harm. Blair stood still, her hand still suspended, trying to understand what had just happened.